On the news, bandits attack Kogi State Confluence University of Science and Technology, abduct 9 students. Rivers Court restrains Amewole, 25 others from parading as State Assembly members. And court refuses to set aside arrest warrant on former Governor Yahaya Bello. Thank you for joining us on News Now. I'm Simisola Atiku. Governor Usman Ododo of Kogi State has confirmed the abduction of 9 students of Confluence University of Science and Technology of Sarah Okene. Eyewitness accounts reveal the bandits gained entry into the university around 9 p.m. on Friday and attacked students preparing for their upcoming examinations. Sources say the attackers gained entry through the bush and proceeded into 3 lecture halls before firing shots to frighten the students. Speaking of the attack, Governor Ododo assured the people of the state of the safe return of the abducted students. A Rivers High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has barred the Speaker of the State Assembly, loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and the other 24 lawmakers from parading as members of the State House of Assembly. Justice Charles Wali gave this order in a case filed by the self-acclaimed factional Speaker of the House, Victor Oko-Jumbo. Wali also restrained the affected lawmakers from meeting or sitting at the auditorium of the House of Assembly quarters or carrying out the legislative businesses of the Rivers State House of Assembly, as the legislative seats have been declared vacant, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. Also joined as defendants in the suit are the Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, the Attorney General of Rivers State, and the Chief Judge of Rivers State. Just a week after the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, stopped mobile money operators Opay, PalmPay, Kuda Bank and Moneypoint from onboarding new customers, the Apex Bank has issued a July 7, 2024 deadline for point-of-sales POS operators to complete registration with the Corporate Affairs Corporation. In response, POS operators in the country's commercial hub, Lagos, have expressed their displeasure considering the economic situation in the country and the short time frame. TV360's Okwayemi Owosheni completes the story.
The federal government has set mandatory registration of point-of-sales operators nationwide will reduce kidnapping and help security agencies arrest recipients of ransom payment from kidnapped victims. It has also vowed that security agencies will go after POS operators who fail to comply with the directive. POS operators have voiced their concerns, highlighting the financial burden posed by the registration requirement and urging the government to reconsider the tight deadline.
So many of us, this is our cost of living. And so many of us, even before getting this POS, I know how it takes us before getting this stamina to work with it. Some don't even have the cash at hand. Before getting this stamina, they had to pay instrumental. And the little money that they get as a daily income, they use it to feed their family. It's not even enough.
It can affect me. The reason is just that based on the registration stop, number one, the issue of registration about the money, because not everybody can afford it, or the POS operator. For instance, let's say the registration money is 100,000 or 50,000. Some people that are POS operator, maybe in a month, they are not making up to that 50,000 or 100,000. How do you expect them to carry 50,000, 100,000 for registration? And at the long run, when they start the business and there's no enough profit on the business, it will really lead to some people, they will end up the POS stuff because they can't afford to pay the registration money.
I'm sure central bank wants to sanitize them to ensure at the end of the day that this policy is free of any rancor, it has no distractions, there will be no loopholes, there will be no leakages, and at the end of the day, a lot more people now embrace and imbibe the banking culture.
While lamenting the short notice, POS operators have asked the government to review the implementation of the directive.
It's not as if it's not a good one. It's a good one to protect our own interests. But the challenge there is the money and the, the commission that they are talking about now. It's the daily commission is high, and the money for the CAC registration is high, and the deadline, the range is too close. So if I'm to look into it, they should do something about it by bringing the registration money down, and the range of the registration is too close. They should extend it.
Despite the grievances of POS operators, some security experts have welcomed the directive. They, however, urge the government to consider the logistical challenges involved in implementing such a directive effectively.
Remember that POS operators, some of them are just jobless people who are trying to find something to do. And then you have sub-agents among them. Now, and you're asking them to go and register with CAC. Will they have the money to register at this time? Can they, get all the people in the rural areas to also comply? So these are the issues that they have to look at. Otherwise, the regulation is fine, where you want all the financial dispensers, so to say, registered, and you know who they are and they can be traced. But you have to take care of this logistics.
The Corporate Affairs Commission has already inaugurated a center for the bulk registration of POS operators. The leadership of the commission says the center is fully equipped with state-of-the-art facilities and sufficient personnel to handle applications efficiently, operating around the clock to meet the demands of the project. Okpeyemi Owosheni, TV360 News, Lagos.
Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court Abuja has insisted that the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, must appear in court and answer to the fraud allegations leveled against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to the tune of 80 billion naira. On April 23, the court ordered the EFCC to serve the former governor with the money laundering charges through his lawyer. In his ruling, Justice Nwite held that since Bello has continued to disobey court orders, he would not be allowed to file any application or be heard. The Senate has approved the death penalty for dealers and importers of cocaine, heroin, and other hard drugs into the country. The proposed capital punishment also applies to manufacturing, trafficking, dealing in, or delivery of hard drugs by any means. The Senate arrived at the resolution on the floor of the Red Chamber after deliberations on the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act Amendment Bill 2024. During the consideration of the report on the bill for passage on Thursday, Senate Chief Whip Aline Dume recommended the punishment of life imprisonment be toughened and upgraded to the death penalty.
Clause 17, dealing with exportation of dangerous substances, is deleted as the provision of the Principal Act, Section 22, is contrary to the rule of double jeopardy, which generally prevent a person from being tried or punished twice on the same offense. As such, it is totally expunged from the Act because it offends the widely established rule of double jeopardy, that you should not be punished twice for one criminal offense.
I am surprised that the committee is recommending a softer punishment. It was a life imprisonment. In fact, we should change it to death sentence. This is practiced everywhere in this country that are serious about dealing with drugs. So when we come to take it close by close, please, distinguished colleagues, let's change that section 11 to read death sentence, whether by hanging or whatever.
We must be honest, transparent in the decision. I am accountable to my conscience and to my community. Death sentence is not a matter for a, nay, or nay. Everybody should vote so that we will be counted. When it matters, those who vote for death and those who vote for punishment. No, you cannot. We'll take a vote. It's a fundamental issue. We are making law here. This is not a motion. I have responsibility for any law that I made while I'm in this parliament. No, we can't pass it because I don't believe that the highs have it. It's about life and death.
Meanwhile, members of the Senate have called for the allocation of adequate budgetary resources and funding for programs and initiatives aimed at addressing the needs and priorities of persons with disabilities in Nigeria. It specifically listed the programs to include, but not limited to, education, healthcare, vocational training, technology, and accessibility infrastructure. This is sequel to the adoption of a motion on persons with disabilities in Nigeria and call for full implementation of the Disabilities Act. In his lead debate, Senator Osita Izunaso of the All Progressives Party Congress representing Imo State says PWDs in the country face various challenges and barriers to full inclusion and participation in this society.
Aware that the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Act, as was passed into law in 2018, provides comprehensive protection of the right of persons with disability, as well as prohibiting discrimination against them in all spheres of life. The Senate is also aware that the full implementation of the Disability Act is crucial to ensuring equal opportunities, access to education, healthcare, employment, transportation, and public services for persons living with disability.
Apart from them having these disabilities, they also have the issue of health inequalities. And as such, making provision for them at every opportunity that we have is a must for us.
It's not about people taking positions in government. It's about doing the work you are appointed to do. There is a National Council for People with Disability, as provided by the Act. There's a National Commission for People with Disability, as provided by the Act. They have failed people with disability in implementing what is already in the Act. If we fully implement what is in that Act, we are going to solve majority of the problems that we are discussing here.
Urge others to prioritize and expedite full implementation of the Act in line with the International Human Rights Conventions, including the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and ensure disability mobility access in all Senate facilities and other government and private buildings. If you step out to the right, there's a disability provision whilst you are entering into the Senate. Like I said, here we are taking care. But in many of the hotels and other government offices, those facilities are absent. So those who are in support of this prayer for, say aye. Those against say nay. The prayer for as amended, the ayes have it.
In Lagos, the Commissioner for Housing, Moruf Akinjero Fataye, has affirmed the readiness of the state government to provide more homes by speedily completing its ongoing housing schemes in all the administrative divisions of the state. The Commissioner disclosed this during the ministerial briefing to commemorate the first anniversary of the second term in office of Babajide Sanwo-Olu. He further revealed that the state is collaborating with the federal government on the Renewed Hope Housing Initiative to provide over 2,000 home units in Ipaja and Ibejuleki. He also says there is an ongoing discussion with a private finance institution to provide 800 units at Odola in Ikorodu Division.
Presently, LSDPC has 19 ongoing projects at various locations, and these projects are estimated to produce a total of 2,104 homes in addition to the housing stock in the state. Some of the projects include LSDPC Ogudu Alapere Boulevard, 508 apartments, Kefi Street, Southwest Ikoyi, 144 luxury apartments, Iconic Towers, 172 luxury apartments, Ilupeju Garden, 234 apartments, Garnet Residence, 33 apartments, The Nexus, 70 luxury apartments, Ogba Ijayi Extension, 16 apartments, Oluwole Urban Mall, 450 retail units and warehouses. Include one, encroachment on state-owned land for housing projects, litigations, slow pace of work by joint venture partners, issues related to allocation of the homes due to limited number, inflationary trends, issue with recusant allottee and resident, strategic initiative deployed. In order to reduce encroachment on land allocated to the ministry by land grabbers, we are now putting action in place to secure all the land granted to the Ministry for Housing Development. Litigation are now also being resolved through mediation and other alternative dispute resolution strategy to curb delays.
It's time for a short break, but coming up, World Football Governing Body FIFA denies imposing 2025 Club World Cup schedule. We'll give you details when News Now returns.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
When you go into public office, you must be ready to answer to the people.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. Governor Usman Ododo of Kogi State has confirmed the abduction of 9 students of Confluence University of Science and Technology of Sarah Okene. Eyewitnesses' accounts reveal the bandits gained entry into the university around 9 p.m. and attacked students preparing for their upcoming examinations. Speaking of the attack, Governor Ododo assured the people of the state of the safe return of the abducted students. He also told you that the Rivers High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has barred the Speaker of the State Assembly, loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and 24 other lawmakers from parading as members of the State House of Assembly. Justice Charles Wali gave this order in a case filed by the self-acclaimed factional Speaker of the House, Victor Okojumbo. Wali also restrained the affected lawmakers from meeting or sitting at the auditorium of the House of Assembly quarters as their legislative seats have been declared vacant pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. And in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Business News is up next with Okwayemi Owosheni, who's on standby to bring us up to speed. What is the latest, Okwayemi?
Thank you, Simisola. Welcome to Business News. The Senate has approved a 549.6 billion naira budget for the Nigerian Communications Commission for the 2024 fiscal year, following the review of the report presented by the Senate Committee on Communications during Thursday's plenary session. Chairman of the Communications Committee, Bilbis Haliyu, provided a breakdown of the NCC's expenditure, highlighting that 155 billion naira is allocated for recurrent expenses. In a similar move, the Senate also approved 17 billion naira for the Universal Service Provision Fund for the same fiscal year.
That the Senate do approve the sum of 549 billion 674 million and 311,000 naira only as the Nigerian Communication Commission budget for the year 2024.
Section 1 of the Nigerian Communication Commission Act to promote widespread availability and usage of network services and application services throughout Nigeria and to all institutions. So in line with the comment or contribution of Senator Ahmed Lawan, this is the agency that is saddled with that responsibility to do this.
The sum of 549 billion 674 million and 311,000 naira only has been approved as the budget estimate for the Nigerian Communications Commission for the year 2024.
We'll go on a short break and be back with stock market reports. Nigeria equities market maintained a southward movement on the last weekday of trading, reducing slightly by 0.02%, with the market capitalization at 55.7 trillion naira. Now, in the aggregate, 127 NG-assisted equities participated in trading, ending with 26 gainers against 26 losers. Now, on the losing side, Mansard came out with a last of the price depreciation of 10%, closing at 5 naira 13 kobo per share, followed closely by PZ Nigeria, which closed at 27 naira 75 kobo per share. Now, at the end of the last weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 344 million volumes of shares were exchanged in 8,497 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 7 billion naira. Now, compared with the previous NGX trading day, that's Thursday, May 9th, today's data shows 49% decline in volume and 55% decline in turnover. Let's take a switch to our select global equities. Well, as you can see from the screen behind me, reverse is the case, as they maintained a northward movement and ended in the bulls, with the UK FTSE at 0.63%, US Dow Jones at 0.20%, and Japan's Nikkei at 0.41%. Let's take a quick look at our foreign exchange market. Well, the US dollar traded at 1,440 naira 15 kobo on the official market and at 1,470 naira on the black market, while the Great British pound traded at 1,800 naira 62 kobo on the official market and at 1,840 naira on the black market, while the euro traded at 1,551 naira 04 kobo on the official market and at 1,530 naira on the black market. Well, that's it on both business and stock market reports. Back to you, Simisola, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Okoyemi. In other countries, South Africa's top court has heard an appeal on Friday to have former President Jacob Zuma declared ineligible to stand for office in a politically charged legal showdown set to raise tensions before the tightest election in decades. The 82-year-old is fronting a new opposition party, MK, that has become a potential disruptor in the May 29 general ballot. However, electoral authorities have argued the graft-tainted politician should be barred from the race because of a 2021 contempt of court conviction. The Constitutional Court in Johannesburg is called to decide on the matter after a lower court sided with Zuma in April. Well, up next is Entertainment Reporter News Now.
Veteran Fuji musician Wasu Ayinde Marshall, commonly known as Kwam One, set tongues wagging following a shared kiss with a man while performing at a show. The Fuji singer, who recently cancelled his 67th birthday over hardship in the country, again made headlines following an unexpected interaction with a man. During a show where Kwam One performed, he was seen exchanging small talks with a man who seemed very cordial with him. However, at a point, the veteran singer kissed the individual on his lips, causing the man to express a joyful reaction, stirring a wave of contemplation on social media. Nollywood actress Shan George said she has now recovered the 3.6 million naira stolen from her bank account. The actress took to her Instagram account to express her gratitude to the bank and people who assisted her in recovering her funds. She also prayed for those who assisted her financially in her pursuit to get her looted money. George further disclosed that she was targeted before getting scammed by an individual identified as Cecilia Okoro, who sent her an email pretending to be from Zenith Bank. And that's it on Entertainment News on News Now. Joy Uchejem, TV 360, Lagos.
Sports World Football governing body FIFA has denied imposing its scheduling for the 2025 Club World Cup amid the threat of legal action from leagues and unions. Secretary General of the World Football's governing body, Matthias Grafstorm, says the body has consulted widely on the new international calendar, according to a letter released to the World Leagues Association and FIFPro. Grafstrom says FIFA is like any other competition organizer and fully within its rights to set the parameters of the competition whilst respecting the regulatory framework in place. Meanwhile, leagues and unions had urged FIFA to reschedule the 32-team Club World Cup due to be staged between June 13 and July 15 next year or face legal action. Well, that's all on News Now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.